Hello and welcome. In advance of the AgGateway Annual Conference in November, the Education Committee has produced a series of webinars in conjunction with the other active committees in the organization. Our goal is to share the mission and agenda for each committee and to encourage members to get involved in the organization's activities in a deeper way through committee participation. My name is Paul Schrimpf. I am Group Editor of the CropLife Media Group and an AgGateway member organization. I will serve as your session moderator. You are currently tuned into the Emerging Technologies Committee overview session, and I am pleased to welcome Andrew Kennedy, who will be presenting on behalf of the Emerging Technologies Committee. Welcome, Andrew, and I'll let you get the session started.
Great. Thanks a lot for inviting me to present today. My name is Andy Kennedy. I'm the chair of the Emerging Technology Committee for AgGateway. And what I'll be talking to you about today is what our committee is all about, kind of our purpose of our committee, some interesting things that we're working on, and just a little bit of background about things that we've done in the past. So prior to, I'd say over the last, maybe about 5 years ago, technology was fairly simple. Everything was siloed. So there was farm technology, there was communication technology, there was value chain technology, and the information technology departments of ag companies could look at those individual silos individually and manage them individually and separately. Most of the technology existed within the firewall of a company, and for the most part, systems were discrete and fairly well segmented. Today, the issue is, over the last 5 years, really, information technology has moved into the cloud. So what we're seeing today is communications, value chain, farm technology, and consumers are all interacting. All that technology is now interacting in the cloud. So before, where you had the technologies that ran your business was isolated inside your firewall, you provide access to your employees and your employees only, and the data that you use was pretty much generated by within the company. Today, what we're seeing is internal business systems are being exposed all the way out to the consumer level. Consumers are asking more questions about what's going on the farm. So what we're seeing from a committee perspective is our members are asking questions about, in terms of emerging technology, how does it connect? How do we implement technology in the cloud? How do we take advantage of a lot of the technologies that are being developed for consumers, and how do we roll that back into our business? So one of the things the Emerging Technology Committee is focused on is helping our members understand all the different forces that are at play in the information technology area, and exploring different topics that you might otherwise not get a chance to talk about, either in your day-to-day business or in other committees in AgGateway. So we're sort of out on the lunatic fringe of AgGateway. We have the opportunity to explore things like, in the past we've talked about HTML5, we've talked about mobile devices, we've talked about the convergence between handheld mobile devices and on-farm mobile devices. In fact, in our last meeting, we talked about the fact that the iPad has gained considerable adoption by growers today out in the field because of the advanced age of a lot of growers. The size and scale of the font that you get on an iPad is much easier to work with than an iPhone. So that was an interesting outcome from one of our last meetings. So you can see basically a consumer technology has been adopted in the field by customers of the members of AgGateway. So that's a little taste of some of the things that we explore. And the framework that we use is we look at the individual specific technologies around precision ag, hardware. We look at value chain, communications, and cloud. And some of the technologies that we look at, real specifically, ISO-bus, weather data streaming, telematics, Bluetooth, SMS, voice to text. We look at all those precision ag and really low-level architecture type components. Then how do those get put together to enable things like social networking, social media. How do those connect to value chain technologies and enable track and trace? And then how do those connect to the AgGateway platforms like Agus? And then ultimately, how do those technologies roll up into the cloud? What type of web services are available to access the cloud? What sort of formats are people programming in the cloud, like HTML5? So we start at the farm level and really look all the way up to the cloud level with our group. But we do a lot of visualization in terms of go forward plans for technology within our companies, but we also have rigor to it. So what we're doing is we're developing methodologies for evaluating new technology and putting them into context for our members. So for example, what we're doing is polling the members of AgGateway to better understand how new technology is being used by their company internally. Is it being built into a commercial project? Has it been evaluated and rejected? So we're equally as interested in finding out about technologies that you have found not to be useful, or that it's premature or it's too costly. So what we really want to find out is, would AgGateway members recommend that technology to other members to be used either inside their company or inside products that they're developing? Additional criteria, do your companies plan to implement this technology in the next 12 to 18 months, or is it a longer time frame? Is it after 18 months? Or is it totally not applicable to our business, but it's great technology? Or is it complete vaporware? So we're interested to find out if the technology really isn't there and really is not effective. And then we plan at this year's annual meeting to have speakers that can talk to some of these technologies, specifically cloud-based technologies, and some of the issues around the cloud-based technologies. So what we're seeing specifically in the cloud, and this is one of the things we want to address at our annual meeting, is cloud enables connectivity across multiple technologies. And that's really kind of a double-edged sword, because once you connect, you're getting a lot of pressure down through social networking tools at the consumer level to expose more and more of your supply chain. So then what are the knock-on impacts in terms of data privacy and security? What should our members be thinking about in terms of how they organize their data, how they share their data, how do they keep it secure and private, but yet at the same time meet the needs of a growing consumer interest in technology? So those are some of the issues that we want to explore at the annual meeting. And we're seeking speakers to specifically address these different types of topics. We also see our committee as a way to have the members come together and explore these technologies through interaction, talking about how each individual member has used this technology. They can raise technologies that they want further explored. We also use tools like we evaluate technology, whether or not it is emerging, whether it's realized fully in the commercial environment, or whether it's kind of on the downhill of its adoption curve. So it's moving towards, instead of an emerging technology, a fully adopted technology. So we have tools for talking about that and organizing technologies into a broad spectrum of understanding. And we look at that each meeting and share that information with the members and the attendees of the meeting. In addition, we have regular meetings, either at least quarterly, but in some cases monthly or every other month. And in fact, a recent meeting that we just had, we had the Director of Security Policy and Global Privacy from Intel Corporation. And his experience working with Google, working with Microsoft from an Intel perspective, working on these data privacy and security issues. In fact, he discussed a briefing that he was writing with Homeland Security around cross-border data security and data privacy issues, especially for companies that reach onto all continents. How do you manage all the different regulatory environments as you share data across borders and deal with all the different regulatory impacts? And one example he raised was recently Google's issue with data privacy and security laws in Germany being significantly different than that of the U.S. And some of the technologies that they deploy, like Street View, ran afoul of some of the German authorities. So he spoke specifically about how Google's managing that issue and how other companies are thinking about those type of issues. So, and in advance of each meeting, we send out an agenda and notification of what we're going to be talking about and who potentially the guest speaker is. And we like to have a guest speaker at each meeting that can bring information about technology to the table so we can basically ask the expert about each specific technology. So in conclusion, again, my name is Andy Kennedy. I'm the chair of the Emerging Technology Committee. And if you have any questions, my email address is shown, and also my cell phone number is listed. Thank you very much.
Well, Andrew, we really appreciate that informative interview of the Emerging Technologies Committee and its current activities. We do encourage you to attend this or any committee meeting of interest to you while at the AgGateway Annual Conference in Las Vegas this coming November. For additional information on AgGateway, including conference agenda and registration, visit www.aggateway.org.